Okay, can I have approval for the October 23rd, 2023 minutes? Linda, Sharon, thank you. All in favor? Are any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. 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 All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed unanimously. We've got the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission minutes. Anybody have any questions on that? The unsafe structures, any questions on those? And then the development summary. Okay, we'll just receive and file those. Next up on the agenda is zoning cases. The first one's ZBA 2023-0051, petition of Charles Austin and Madeline Michelle Bennett. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Matt, second. Linda? Okay, Andrew?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This first case from Charles and Madeline Bennett is a request of a special use to divide 5 acres from an existing 66.04 acre tract. The petitioners do propose to construct a single-family dwelling on property owned as part of a family farm. So this parcel is located on West Getz Road in Kickapoo Township, about a half-mile east of the Cobblestone Estates subdivision. There are no consents nor objections on file. The subject parcel is zoned to A1 Ag Preservation. It currently consists of pasture, timber, and a lake. Surrounding parcels are a mixture of timber, agriculture, and single-family dwellings, including 2 single-family dwellings with similar lot sizes directly south. So the petitioner's request is consistent with the surrounding area. It is served by public water, and it will be served by a private septic system. The health department had no objection to that request. The proposed 5-acre tract would have approximately 235 feet of road frontage along Getz Road. There were no comments from the Kickapoo Township Road Commissioner. No ag land or cropland will be taken out of production as a result of this request. It is consistent with the county's land use plan designation of ag preservation, which includes homesteads on agricultural parcels. Staff recommended approval, and the ZBA recommended approval 7-0.
Thank you, Andrew. Do we have any questions for Andrew on this zoning case? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Next one's ZBA-2023-0045, petition of Blaine Kosek. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Linda Eden?
All right, thank you. This is a special use request to allow for overnight accommodations in the R2 medium density residential district, provided they meet the requirements set forth in section 7.8 of the Unified Development Ordinance, which is overnight accommodations. That includes no more than 5 rooms or suites of rooms are rented, and rooms are not rented for a period of more than 14 days. The petitioner proposes to offer the subject dwelling for rent on a short-term basis through the Airbnb website. It is a 1,744 square foot 3-bedroom house, and he would rent the entire house rather than each bedroom individually. The subject parcel is located at 2517 North 1st Street in Medina Township. That's in the Alta area. There are no consents nor objections on file. The subject parcel and all surrounding parcels are zoned R2 medium density residential and are used residentially. The town of Alta consists largely of older single-family dwellings with a mix of small commercial and industrial uses located within 1,000 feet or so of the parcel. There's a bar and grill, there is a restaurant, there's some commercial space. The petitioner states the rentals will be limited to 8 overnight guests. The home is equipped with video security cameras. The ordinance does require that the operator keep a log identifying the name, address, and phone number of all guests, and that overnight accommodations not begin operation until a certificate of occupancy has been issued by the zoning administrator. The ordinance also requires that no more than 4 automobiles may be parked accessory to a single-family dwelling for a period of more than 72 continuous hours. Subject parcel has frontage on 1st Street and is accessed by an asphalt driveway. The dwelling includes a 1-stall attached garage, which may be used by its guests. And the petitioner estimates that 2 cars parked at the property would be average, and no more than 4 cars would be allowed to be parked at the property at a time. There were no comments from the Medina Township Road Commissioner. This property is served by public water and private septic. The health department had no objection. They did recommend that the property owner leave information regarding their on-site wastewater disposal for their guests so that their systems are properly cared for and maintained, and have their guests notify them immediately of any problems during their stay. The petitioner's request is consistent with the unincorporated center land use designation of the Peoria County Comprehensive Plan. The petitioner's request is also consistent with the Peoria County growth strategy of generating economic opportunity and stability. Medina Township Planning Commission met but did not offer any comments, and staff recommended approval with 8 restrictions that are included in your staff report. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval 7-0 with those same restrictions, and I'm happy to discuss those restrictions at your request.
Any questions from Andrew? Linda?
I just have a question in general. We have been approving quite a few Airbnb as special use, and not always, but sometimes we have a number of people come who complain, and I guess one of the questions I'd like to ask is, have we received complaints? Because I think the first ones that we approved were a year ago, or almost a year ago. Have we received complaints from citizens about these properties with special use for Airbnb?
Yeah, thank you for that question. The county has approved to date 10 Airbnbs, and as you can see, we've got this one and another one on the agenda here today. There have been some concerns raised at the meetings. However, after they've been approved, after they've began operation, planning and zoning has not heard a single complaint. So,
That's what I want to know. I mean, I understand why people sometimes have a hard time understanding how this is all going to work, but now that we've been doing this for a year, I'm very curious about that. So I'm glad to know that there have not been complaints.
and one of the restrictions is that the operators share their contact information with the adjoining neighbors, so that not only would they be contacting the Department of Planning and Zoning, but they have that information should they need it.
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Terry?
Andrew, I know in some of these cases, the special use for an Airbnb has been approved with the ownership being specific to the zoning, so that when the property might sell in the future, it automatically reverts back to its previous zoning. Is that the case for all of these cases that we've heard?
Yeah,
All
that's-
10 of these will revert back to their previous zoning if they sell it?
That's correct. The overnight accommodation special use is contingent upon the current owner, and should there be a future owner, they would need to then reapply.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions for Andrew on this zoning case? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Moving on, we've got ZBA-2023-0050, petition of Lucas Arnold. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Eden, Sharon?
All right, thank you. This is a special use request to divide a 7.5 acre parcel from an existing 35.6 acre tract in the A2 agricultural district. There are no consents nor objection on file. This parcel is located on McCullough Road in Hollis Township. The subject parcel currently consists of a single-family dwelling, agricultural fields, agricultural buildings, timber, and a lake. The petitioner is requesting the proposed land split in order to relocate back to a family farm. He wishes to convert an existing 2,000 square foot barn at the property into a residence, go through the building permit process for that, and he plans to continue farming the existing field that would be located on that 7.5 acre parcel. The subject parcel is zoned A2 along with all surrounding parcels. Surrounding land use consists of single-family dwellings, agriculture, and timber. There are 11 parcels ranging from 0.86 acres to 8.5 acres located approximately 220 feet to the west. So the petitioner's request is consistent with the agricultural and residential uses of the surrounding area. The property will be served by public water and private septic. The health department had no objection to this request. The parcel has frontage on McCullough Road, a township road. The petitioner plans on obtaining an easement in order to utilize the subject parcel's existing gravel driveway for access to the proposed parcel. They are not proposing any new access points. There were no comments from the road commissioner, Howells Township Road Commissioner. The county's land use plan does designate this area as agriculture. There was a LISA conducted on the property which scored a low rating. However, no farmland would be taken out of production as a result of the petitioner's request. The petitioner states that he's moving to the parcel to help with the family farm and that he would continue farming. Staff recommended approval with one restriction, and that restriction is that the property may not be divided again unless a rezoning is granted by the Peoria County Board. That's standard for an A2 land split. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval 7-0 with that same restriction.
Thank you. Now, have you guys looked at the building that he wants to convert into a barn, that it is something that is feasible, or, you know, it's in good enough shape that that can be done, or do you have to go out and look at that before he applies for that building permit?
We will address that during the building permit. New construction of a building, a multi-purpose building almost.
Okay.
So, you know, people are looking for creative ways to utilize spaces that they may not longer need, or in this case, you know, he's got an existing building that he feels he can adequately convert.
Gotcha. Any other questions for Andrew on this case? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Next, we got ZBA 2023-0054, petition of, I'm probably going to butcher your name, but Asif Hussein. Can I have a motion to put that on the agenda? Eden, Linda? Okay, Andrew?
Thank you. The petitioners are present for this particular case. There are two cases associated with this property. The first one is a rezoning of a 4-acre parcel from A1 Ag Preservation to A2 Agriculture. The petitioner's intent is to offer the single-family dwelling at the subject property as an overnight accommodation. Overnight accommodations are not allowed in the A1 Ag Preservation zoning district. Therefore, the rezoning is required first in order to entertain that special use request second. The subject parcel consists of a single-family dwelling and pasture land and is located on West US Route 150 in Brimfield Township, approximately a half-mile west of Brimfield. There are 2 objections and 0 consents on file. Those objections had to deal with the existing maintenance on the property. One of the concerns was from an individual located approximately 1,500 feet to the west of the subject parcel on the opposite side of Route 150. They specifically identified mowing and dilapidated fences and concerns about maintenance in the future. And then the other property, the other objection was from a property owner close to that first objector, who also highlighted maintenance issues. All surrounding parcels in this case are zoned A1 Ag Preservation. Surrounding land uses include single-family dwellings and agricultural uses. The parcels to the north and east of the subject parcel are also owned by the petitioner. They consist of 2 agricultural buildings and pasture land. There are 7 single-family dwellings on parcels ranging from 1 to 6.4 acres along a half-mile stretch of West Route 150, ranging from North Brimfield Cemetery Road to North Whitaker Road. The petitioner states that this property has remained vacant for more than a year, and he intends to maintain the existing agricultural character of the subject parcel. So the petitioner's request is consistent with the agricultural and residential uses in the surrounding area. The property has a low rating for ag production. No cropland, however, will be taken out of production as a result of the request. It is served by an existing well and existing septic system. The health department had no objection to this request. The subject parcel is currently accessed by an existing gravel driveway off Route 150. No new access points are proposed at this time. The property does include a 2-car garage for use by guests and a concrete driveway in front of the house that can be used to park additional vehicles. The petitioner will be required to park all vehicles on the property premise in order to avoid any impact on local roadways, specifically Route 150. There were no comments from IDOT. The Peoria County Comprehensive Land Use Plan designates this area as ag preservation, which is intended to protect the most productive agricultural land. However, this parcel is only 4 acres in size, with a house and a small amount of pasture land. No farmland will be taken out of production, and the site received a low leasehold rating for protection. Staff did recommend approval of the rezoning, and the Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval 6-0.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions? Eden?
Did the landowners address the concern of maintenance? I assume if they want to make this an Airbnb, they would want to have a nicely maintained area.
Sorry, I'm just looking to see what comments we have within our file here. I personally was not at the Zoning Board of Appeals. Don't see it in here. I don't have an answer for that. Perhaps they can comment on that.
Yeah, as long as before the county board meeting, we could have an answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would the petitioner like to speak on this, as long as you don't say anything else besides what was said at the Zoning Board of Appeals thing? If you could like to speak to this, that'd be fine.
As we already stated, that has been vacant for more than a year now, and we few things which we planned initially didn't work out. We planned to sell, same thing, it didn't work out either. So that is one of the big reasons that we are not able to maintain the property at this point. We want to generate some revenue with Airbnb, and that would definitely, without maintaining, we would not be able to provide those Airbnb services. So yes, that should be addressed with your concern.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Okay, the last CBA case is ZBA-2023-005, petition of Mr. Hussein again. And, can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Linda, Eden, thank you.
Thank you. This is part 2, which is a special use request to provide overnight accommodations in the A2 Ag zoning district, provided that they meet the requirements set forth in section 7.8, overnight accommodations, and provided that no more than 5 rooms or suites of rooms are rented, and that rooms are not rented for a period of more than 14 days. The petitioner proposes to offer the subject dwelling for rent on a short-term basis through Airbnb. The entire 1,560 square foot 3-bedroom house would be rented, rather than each room being rented individually. The subject parcel consists of a single-family dwelling and pasture land and is located on West US Route 150 in Brimfield Township, approximately 1/2 mile west of Brimfield. On this particular case, there were 0 consents and 0 objections. All surrounding parcels are zoned A1 Ag Preservation. Surrounding land uses include single-family dwellings and agricultural uses. The petitioner's request is again consistent with the agricultural and residential uses in the surrounding area. The petitioner states that rentals will be limited to 5 overnight guests, and the home will be equipped with Ring doorbells. Development standards for overnight accommodations are outlined in section 20-7.8 of the UDO. Some of those include that the operator keep a log identifying the name, address, and phone number of all guests, and that overnight accommodations not begin operation until a certificate of occupancy has been issued by the zoning administrator. The ordinance requires no more than 4 automobiles may be parked accessory to a single-family dwelling for a period of more than 72 continuous hours. That will be addressed by the parking on the existing gravel driveway, as well as the 2-car garage, and that all guests will park within the property premises to avoid any impact on Route 150. Again, there were no comments from IDOT. The property is served by private well and private septic. The health department had no objection. However, they did recommend the property owner leave information regarding their well and septic systems for their guests so that their systems are properly cared for and maintained, and have their guests notify them immediately of any problems during their stay. The petitioner's request is consistent with the Peoria County growth strategy of generating economic opportunity and stability. Staff recommended approval with 8 restrictions, and the Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval 6-0 with those same restrictions. and I'm happy to discuss those restrictions at your request.
Any questions for Andrew? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Moving on to resolution, we have an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Dunlap. Can I have a motion to put that on? Linda? Sharon? Okay, Andrew?
Thank you. So this is an intergovernmental agreement between Peoria County and the Village of Dunlap for the administration of the Village of Dunlap's building code. That will be done by the Department of Planning and Zoning. Since 2015, the village has administered their own building code. However, due to attrition within the Village of Dunlap, they no longer have the staffing to administer such code, and so they'd like to revert back to county services. The county, prior to 2015, did actually issue all building permits and conduct inspections within the Village of Dunlap. The proposed intergovernmental agreement identifies specific services, including permitting, plan review, inspections, erosion control, permitting, plan review, and inspections. The Village Dunlap will remain responsible for administration of their own zoning ordinance, which requires zoning verification and land use. So items such as variances will not come before our zoning board of appeals. This will strictly be for building permits after the village has approved the land use. Any case appealed to our building board of appeals shall be subject to payments specifically outlined within the agreement. The village will be required to provide its own legal counsel at its own expense with regards to any appeals that are made. Further, the village will also be responsible for adopting the applicable sections of the Peoria County Code governed by this intergovernmental agreement, which include building code adoption. The fees will be collected on an individual basis when services are rendered. It'll be the same as a current Peoria County resident coming into the department to obtain a building permit. And this intergovernmental agreement will take effect on January 1st of 2024 and will automatically renew until such time where either party gives 30 days notice that they'd like to discontinue the service. The fiscal impact is that the county will collect the fees for the building permits issued and the services rendered. The operational impact is that the Village of Dunlap currently issues approximately 20 permits per year. We anticipate, based on our current staffing levels, that the additional workload will not cause any disruption to existing levels of service. We have analyzed the costs associated with this, and we feel that it is in the best interest, and therefore our Department of Planning and Zoning recommendation would be approval to take this on.
Any questions for Andrew? So basically, we'll do a net zero, or will it cost us a little bit on taking this on? I mean, will the fees pay for all of our expenses? That will
Yes.
Be, okay.
Yeah. We've analyzed the cost of conducting the services versus the cost of traveling to Dunlap and taking on the additional workload, and the county will not be losing any money as a result.
Okay, great. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, we're at public comment. Do we have anybody that wants to make any comments? I think all of our public left. Miscellaneous, anybody have anything for miscellaneous? Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.